Bitcoin hanging out at around 38,000, Cardano hanging out around $1.55, both testing huge resistance. The bullish reversal we're all waiting for is ready to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen very soon. The time has come. In this video, I'm going to break down the very crucial data points that we need to watch on the charts right now. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into this video. I want to break these charts down as simply as possible. And I want to start with Bitcoin, pivot to Cardano. This dip that we've gotten, and I want to start with this. It's expected. I mean, if you've been in crypto, if you're new to crypto and you've been watching people talk about crypto that have been here a while, these dips, we just wait for them. And finally it happened. We were in this very euphoric state in this bull market in which it wasn't happening. We finally got one. And at the end of the day, you zoom out on these charts. We can zoom out on these charts in years. This is a good thing. This is a very important move as we zoom out on these charts and we look back here, this move for Bitcoin, this move for Bitcoin, good moves, bullish moves. When you're living in it, it doesn't feel so. But here we are. And this is the snapshot of the weekly. I want to do something. I want to zoom in on the daily. We've been very much comparing this dip, and even going into this dip, we were comparing this dip in the summer of 2017 in the middle of the last bull market, saying, anticipating for consolidation down, and we've gotten it. It's time for a bounce, though, on these charts. Historically speaking, a bounce, a continuation into the bull market is what happens next. And that's what we need to watch for very carefully. So we're going to dig in. We're going to actually dig in here on the daily and see what this bounce looked like and if we can get something similar. So let's go. Here's the daily. This is the move. And it's funny when you zoom in on it on the daily chart, it's a big move to the downside, ultimately a swing low of around 40%. And Bitcoin bounced out of it and continued into the bull market. So imagine going from 3,000 to about 1,800, people freaking out in the middle of the last bull market, similar to now, continuation to 20,000. Now, this is what I'm noticing on the RSI. Very similar move that's happening now. We hit the oversold on the RSI, and this is the daily chart. It doesn't happen all the time on this slower moving momentum oscillator. The stock RSI obviously hit oversold, but we have here the MACD. Now, the bottom of this dip, we had MACD, and we had a MACD cross above that signal line. Let me open that up just so that we can take a quick look at that. So this is the bottom of the dip, MACD crossing the signal line for the continuation of the bull market. And if we go to the charts now on the daily chart, we're comparing this similar move in July of 2017, and we look at this dip, same thing. It's kind of like we're on the daily, we've just trickled down, we've consolidated down, we've hit oversold on the RSI, and we're looking for bullish continuation now out of the oversold territory. Right now, we're getting a series of kind of these short-term higher highs and higher lows on the RSI, which is good. It's upward momentum. The stock RSI coming out of oversold, obviously. And now here's the key point, the key factor. This uptick on the MACD approaching the signal line. Are we going to get the MACD cross above the signal line at the bottom of this dip for bullish continuation? It would be just an unbelievable resemblance of the last bull market. And I say that just because we've talked about it so much. We're over 300 days past the, I should actually start here. We're over 300 days past the 2020 halving, over 300 days past the 2016 halving back here, similar dip in the middle of that bull market. And all in here at the same time, I want you to notice, and I haven't forgotten about this, these triangles. Right before Bitcoin entering the bull market, breaking out of that triangle, right before Bitcoin entering this bull market, breaking out of that triangle, the target still not hit in that $95,000 to $100,000 range. In the middle of the move, a huge dip. In the middle of the move, a huge dip. These are my charts. This is something we've tracked for years. You can go to so many other analysts and their charts. They track it different, but one thing is the same. There is so much harmony on these Bitcoin charts. It's absolutely insane. The bounce that we're all waiting for, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. And we need to track it, and we start on the short term. And if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen soon. We're going to get rejection soon. We're potentially going to get bearish confirmation soon. That would look like a bounce off of this short term, very short term resistance to new lows. And that's what we'd be watching. So we have the swing high to swing low. We've just been tracking this area. Bitcoin not giving us just, any flexibility in terms of patience. We must be patient. We've been just testing this resistance area, this Fibonacci at the 786, 40,500 to the 618, 38,400. We've been testing it for over a day now. If we get a bounce down, rejection, I just want to point this out. We have a new Fibonacci support from that last low we put in to this resistance. We have a Fibonacci support on the short term around 34,400 at the 618 to 33,000 at the 786. That's a support area if Bitcoin does get rejected in the short term. And then down here, all in this bottom, we can start tracking structure. Are we setting up a symmetrical triangle that we have to be patient to break out of, whether to the downside or to the upside? I would love to sit here and tell you exactly what's going to happen next for Bitcoin. All I can say is historically, cycle-wise, on these zoomed out charts, Bitcoin's ready for a reversal. But whether it happens or not, we track on the short term, and we have to allow the setup before we get the move for bullish confirmation or bearish confirmation. And we're going to continue tracking that. Pivoting over to Cardano, let's throw this out there. Updates on Cardano ERC20 converter, smart contracts, P2P, and more will be shared this coming Thursday, 27th May, 2 days from now. Big update. Charles also tweeted, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. He did an actual video, I should say, entitled 90 Days. And a lot seems to be getting ready to happen within the next 90 days for Cardano. I would say, the most bullish season for Cardano we are entering. It is the season of the completion of the Goguen era. It is, if we zoom out on the charts and we go to ADA, it is smart contracts. It is the Alonzo mainnet, likely by August, I would say. We don't have an exact date, but it's coming, everybody. And it is the most bullish season for Cardano. I talk about it all the time. I zoom out on this weekly chart all the time. We've been zooming out. We've been talking about this box that we are in now with this RSI uptick. I know I talk about this weekly a lot, but we're going to keep tracking that. The ADA BTC pair, we're going to keep tracking that. I'm not going to, harp on it too much right now because I've been talking about it a lot lately. One thing I will show you is the ADA Ethereum pair. Look what's been happening since January, really. Cardano seeing an uptick, Cardano seeing momentum to the upside. What's so cool on this, and this is kind of, if you look at ADA BTC, right? ADA BTC is up here a little bit with still a ton of room for upside. Even on the stock RSI, ton of room for upside. Go to the ADA ETH pair and look at this, even more room. And this is going into smart contracts, even more room for the slower moving momentum oscillator. This is, in my opinion, it's not guaranteed. We don't know what's going to happen. But if there were to be a story that was told in terms of Cardano stealing Ethereum market share, even the technicals and the charts line up for that story to be told. And it would have Cardano, doing something like this. Maybe another month of consolidation, something like this, right? But the ADA ETH pair, the Ethereum market share that's coming to ADA, I truly believe is one of the best setups for these charts. Zooming in now, let's talk about Ethereum. I tweeted just a little bit ago about this move. This was back in the middle of the last bull market, in the same move we just looked at for Bitcoin. We just compared Bitcoin now to this move in July 2017, and this is what Ethereum was doing then. A 70% dip, 60, 68, 69, 70% dip for Ethereum. And I just said, it's so reminiscent of what Cardano just did in many altcoins. 60+% dip in the middle of this bull market at a comparative timeline area in terms of bull market cycles. And we're getting that bounce right now. We can start zooming in, and there's a couple things on the very short term I do want to talk about. And by the way, this is the daily chart. We got that bounce back above the 50-day moving average. We want to see support hold there at $1.48. I had this tweet in my notifications. Thanks, Dan. Always prepared. Curious if you're seeing a potential reverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour. So this is, I believe, what that person is talking about, and that person being Jeff. Thanks, Jeff, for that comment. This is a 6-hour, but the story there is being told on any time frame. It is left shoulder, head, right shoulder. There's the neckline. And it's a really interesting setup that I think if we're going to track anything on Cardano in the short term, this is just the best setup to track. We have an inverse head and shoulders. You remember at the bottom that we had in April when we just capitulated down to like 89 cents, we talked about kind of a similar setup. It was the story of the bulls and bears fighting, and Cardano kind of got stuck at this right shoulder area, just seeing crazy resistance at a Fibonacci resistance right here at that green channel. That was that high to low to resistance. It got stuck there for on the 6-hour, really for days before making the move to the upside. It's the same story here. The bulls and the bears fighting in this bottom range right now, inverse head and shoulder setup with a breakout target back to the $2.50 range. It's an epic setup if it were to break to the upside, but we're not there yet. Notice the most interesting thing on this chart is Cardano, and let me chart this for you. That neckline area is the area that we've been tracking for, and that's not the right swing high. That is the area, this last, bounce rally area, swing high here to $1.90s to this swing low. Cardano right now at that neckline of the inverse head and shoulders we just tracked. Let me get rid of the Fibonacci, but it's the 618 line right here. Neckline, 618 line of the Fibonacci, right around $1.61 is seemingly very large resistance for Cardano. You can see even on the 6-hour, we wicked there real quick, came back down. We've wicked there 3 other times already on the 6-hour chart, came back down. So you can see Cardano struggling at its own Fibonacci in the same way that Bitcoin is struggling right here at its own Fibonacci resistance. So back to the 6-hour, this is it. I mean, I don't mean to dramatize it, but this is really a really big area. If Cardano can break this neckline, the 618 line, the $1.61 area into, at the very least, the Fibonacci resistance, it's a good first step of reversal. And it's a very good first step towards bullish confirmation. Ultimately, we want to break the 786 here at $1.76, but we at the very least, we want to see Cardano start putting some pressure onto this area now. Enough with the wicks, Cardano. Come on, ADA. Step it up, bulls. We want to see it move into it. Otherwise, we're looking at rejection. We're looking at the same thing that we're looking at for Bitcoin, which is a support area now we have to start tracking if we do get rejection. And that's back down here, 618, $1.27 to the 786, $1.17. It's very much in play, everybody. And we just have to track this, and we have to allow the structure to form. So are we going to get that move to the downside because we failed here, or the bulls are going to step in? We start putting in bullish reversal to the upside. That's what I'm watching. I don't mean to be repetitive in these videos. There's a lot of really cool data that we're tracking right now, but it is all we can do. It's all we can do is track it. And what's so cool is it's lining up with what's about to happen in 2 days, which is just more updates on the ERC20 converter, on smart contracts, and really on Alonzo. And it's just such a big season for Cardano. So while we do zoom in on the charts, we look at all of this, even you can go look at an hourly chart, you can see how crazy it all looks. And we're talking about it. Look at that inverse head and shoulders in play, 250 target. We can talk about all that. We can talk about all that as much as we want. But I'm telling you, if you start zooming out on the charts, there is so much in store. We're still in May, June, July, August. There's a lot happening, everybody. I'm so bullish. I really am on Cardano, as many of you know. There's no secret there. So hit the subscribe, everybody. Hit that like on the way out. It really means a lot to me. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.